Hello, everyone. What follows here is an interview with one of my earliest clients, one of my favorite client transformation stories. His name is Ravi. He's had a hell of a transformation. He found himself at 30 years old and still a virgin, very unsuccessful, and he's always wanted to find a wife and have kids, start a family. So, in order to do that, he underwent a massive overhaul of his dating life and he trusted me to overhaul his style and image. And we're going to talk about the whole process he went through in the interview. So, enjoy this.
Is it recording? Yes, it's recording. Hello, Ravi. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good, thank you, big man. I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, I heard the business is going well.
It is indeed. Picking up. I've got signed a new client the other day. Um, Learning a ton, growing in my audience, my platform. Since pushing audience growth for the last couple of weeks, I've got like 60 new subscribers. I'm going to be passing the 200 mark very soon. So I'm pretty happy with this. It's been really interesting, and I'm very passionate about the results I'm getting right now. So it's
Nice,
good. It's
nice,
good space to be.
nice. I've been watching. I think you did a couple of videos wearing the Dior jumper. I was really happy to see flashing some designer like on the YouTube. Good to see.
I stick to the old reliable. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. It has the impact, man. It works. And
Yeah, man, that cream color works really well on your complexion as well. It's like a nice contrast complexion thing.
absolutely, man. It's like those fundamentals that we kind of nailed down. To this day, they just do the trick. Regardless of where I am, regardless of what I'm doing, whether I'm creating content or meeting people, dating, networking, it just works really well for me.
I'm glad
So
you said I'm glad you said networking because like as someone who's like starting a business, like not just you, I've had other guys recently. I can't say his name, but it's someone who was in Andy's group. He wanted actually two guys from Andy's group who are like, yeah, my fashion really needs to like also help me in business when I'm meeting potential clients and like I'm specifically going to business events where having great fashion really helps you like grease the social groove and like break the ice. Some guys will literally come up to you and be like, those shoes, I mean, like people, this happens to people in real life when you're like actually dressed to impress. People are impressed. It's funny how that works, isn't it? I mean, when you actually try, there is a chance
mm,
that it'll actually give you benefits.
it's like you're showing that you're serious. You're showing that you're put together. I did a business event earlier on this year. It was a really great one. Did some public speaking in there. It was great. I asked a bunch of questions, met loads of great people. Me being there separates me from many people who follow groups like that but don't make the effort to come. Then me showing up, engaging with everybody, making new friends, making new contacts, looking as good as I possibly can, having confidence that I've built up, it does make the difference. And I got really great information from that, and some fantastic resources, met some great people who've taught me some fantastic information. That is a world of difference from someone who hasn't got these things together in themselves just yet. There is
Yeah,
a
I
whole
mean, sorry, Ravi, go on.
I was just gonna say there's like a whole world of abundance that you can take part in. There's no rule saying that you can't go out there and get these things. It just requires you to reach a certain level within yourself, and you want to dial all these facets in with your appearance, which then starts to turn the flywheel of your confidence, and then you begin to take your place in the world, right? So it's a critical piece, and it's something that I continue to take seriously with any networking that I'm doing, content, pushing in life in general. It's just an integral part of that.
Yeah, I love that spin the wheels of confidence. That's like a really I said this to another guy the other day. I might have him on the channel at some point. I think he might. I'm not gonna say his name though. I try not to say guys' names, but he was saying like he saw himself in the mirror and he was like, damn, I look good. And I basically said to him, like, yeah, like I'd say 80% of what I do is just having guys like learn to love how they look, learn to love how they're dressing. Like they're able to walk into a room and be confident they're one of the best dressed guys in that room. That's something I got from Joe. Joe was like, yeah, I feel the confidence that I'm better dressed than every other guy in this room. That's like what he loves about the style that he got from me. I want to go back to let's roll the wheels back because I'm going to overlay some images, and I'm sorry about this, but of how you used to dress. and like how you used to present yourself pre-hair transplant Ravi as well. Like look at that sexy hairline he has now. That wasn't what I was working with when he first came to me for help into image transformation. So yeah, you were like a typical doesn't really know how to dress himself at times guy, or there are occasions I saw where you did know how to dress yourself, but like your confidence may have been so shot that you just didn't bother trying at some point. And then when I met you, you were like at the lowest dip in terms of like, I don't know, you were just like lost and confused maybe as well. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but like it did seem like you either didn't know what you were doing or you didn't think it was worth the effort to try. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I really was lost. I didn't know what would constitute good image. I didn't even have any concept at that point what would work for me and what could possibly just make me noticeable in some regard, right? Because I was at that point used to being quite invisible. I had been very overweight for many years, and at that point, when you're 275 pounds obese, you stop trying. Your fashion goes to shit. And as I started working with yourself and started losing my weight and making some more efforts, it was totally overwhelming. I had no clue what was working well, what wasn't potentially working. I was making some types of efforts here and there, but I didn't have the right ideas in my head. So to get clarity, I did what smart people do when you're looking to win. You can work with someone who has solved this problem and use their expertise and not have to struggle yourself and be psychologically reassured that this is going to be the right way to go and not have to stress out and feel fear and anxiety. And importantly, you can get results. And it did work.
Okay, that's good. I mean, what was preventing you from like actually solving this on your own? Because I remember when you first showed up on the forums, when you first got involved with Andy, like was it just a lack of knowledge, I guess? That's basically the main reason?
Yeah, man. It was a lack of knowledge and also just some concepts of what in my mind like constituted good style. I had a really weak concept of what good style really looked like. I couldn't really recognize it in the world.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, it's
I
like a
could,
really noisy world too. Like fashion, there's so much going on in like fashion world. You have like the fashion bros, then you have like several different archetype built like fashion that goes to different archetypes and different scenes. And I pity guys who like say, I'm gonna start and like overhaul my fashion, and they walk into the world of fashion, they're like,
mm,
oh, there are way too many options. Like there's actually an overload of how many options there are, not just the brands, like, but like how you can wear there, what styles you want to go for. And like also like the recommendations you get from like 1,000 different directions, you know what I mean? And like I guess what I want to do is like be the guy in our community that like funnels all that information into like the useful, you know? And that's hopefully what I managed to achieve for you.
yeah,
Um, and then yeah, just like cutting through the bullshit and like filtering you towards what's going to help you fastest. Obviously it helps that we did an in-person, so like I could actually get to see you like and see what you look like and figure it out that way in Oxford. That was fun. I remember going to Oxford.
that was a
That
lot of
was
fun,
jokes.
man. Yeah, it was great. There's just hearing each of the stories and like how we came into self improvement and understanding the little subtle things because at that time I was really so confused. I didn't understand like hadn't been on a date, I don't think, at that point in my life.
Oh yeah, that was before you moved to London and lost your virginity. I
Yeah.
remember this.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Can we?
Dude,
Which that's a good point. Can we talk about results? Like,
yeah, yeah,
I want to talk about like because I remember I think I sent. Not only did I help you with your style and image, I was also like, you need to move to London, man. Like, you need to move somewhere where you're
yeah.
actually going to stand a chance and like have enough volume to like actually like, especially online. Like online is just like all about being around the volume, like all about being in a big city. We have a lot of girls who could potentially swipe on your profile, and we can set you up with the best fucking image. I can make you look like a celebrity, but if you live in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, which essentially you do, like
Yeah, I do,
it's
man, yeah.
that's not gonna work. I like my whole goal was like, I'm gonna set this guy up with a style where if you drop him in the middle of London, it's gonna work. like especially with like the urban. I'm gonna throw up pictures as well of like where we got to with the style. But like basically, what results did you get?
Yeah.
Like parachuted you dressing in the streetwear look into London. What happened?
Yeah. So we did it really intensively. We went absolutely all in. So this was so important to me that nothing came above it. I was desperate, and I was quite clear with yourself and Andy that I have to fix this. I don't care about anything else in my life for the next year and a half. I just have to sort this out, and that's final. So we went as hard as we possibly could. The best place to move was London. It was amazing. I love London, and my life changed from that moment. I moved there November 2020, 21 was it?
21, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you were there for the whole of 22.
Yeah, yeah. So we had that. We hung out that time in Oxford. I did my session with you, then moved in November. Fortunately, I had a great guy in the forum who was cool enough to like let move in with me, and we made that happen. And then I went from where I was a guy I'd never been on a date, was a virgin, had no experience whatsoever, had a ton of anxiety to the point where I was like almost pass out, like almost physical sickness before dates and stuff like that. And even on dates, I was literally vibrating and like sweating and stuff. It was crazy. But I had a roadmap that developed with yourself and Andy and stuck to it. Over the course of that time, I completely transformed every facet of my life. It's just amazing. It's just totally amazing. Um, so I had about 100 dates. It might be around 98, or it might be over 100 actually in that period of time, which was
Sorry,
great.
just to clarify, how many dates had you had the year before?
0.
Was it zero? Oh, I thought you like managed to like wrangle something
Oh,
up. Damn.
like
Yeah.
I kind of, well, dude, I kind of like before that in the West Midlands, I got a small handful, but it was a very strange situation. I'd had to like drive very far out and stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. That's fair enough. Yeah.
It wasn't really indicative. It wasn't quite a dating life, but in London, it was a dating life. It was consistent. It was regular. I had them all the time. Sometimes 2 a day. Sometimes like quite a few a week. It was great. It was great. It really was. Other results then. I lost my virginity in January.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's got to be done. It's got to be done. January of 2022. So that was a girl who I went on a date with in December of 2021. Went on like 4 dates with her in January, and on date 4, she basically just asked me to come back to her place, and she just pretty much pulled me. It was great. And then the floodgates were open from there. That moment, I'll never forget that weekend. It completely changed my life. I was like, things like that, you're never the same after that. Those memories I'll always have until, whilst I'm in this world. Just how magical everything was that weekend, and
Just to
even the
clarify, just to clarify as well, like your success going from nothing to zero, sorry, zero to actually having success this year. This was all from Tinder. Yeah. This is all from online dating.
all from online
Yeah.
dating,
So it's
everything was
all
online
the
dating.
only two real changes we made, other than obviously some of the stuff on the date that we ended up over the year. Like obviously you got better at dating from experience and from some help from some other guys. But the main two changes that we made was your image overhaul, your geography, and then we put the image onto a good Tinder profile. And that was like those were the things that basically fixed your dating life. Just your
Yeah,
fixing your appearance, getting a good Tinder profile, and putting you somewhere where you could succeed. Those are like the three things that were key.
correct.
From
Yes, they were. They were so mission critical, dude. They had to be done. Like a guy who got to that age, like I was, 30. I needed the experience. I needed the volume. I needed to get over those anxieties. I needed to actually think that someone would date me in the future, because my goal, of course, is to start a family. So I needed to know for sure. No, there's going to be women who want to date me and so on. And there was just no way around it. All of these
yeah.
things had to converge and had to come together. And yes, it sounds simple, right? It was, you change your style, you go to where the volume is, you develop your profile to the point where it's going to work, and then you will get the dates. You will get them. They will
Yeah.
come in.
And you had to have faith in us when we told you this when you had no idea. Yeah. Yeah, how was
Yeah,
that's the biggest, the thing that's most interesting with me for you is like you had to have a lot of faith in us, the collective people that were helping you in the community, and obviously the people professionally that were helping you. And it was like you had to have faith because you were like, I've never had a success before.
yeah,
And like, if anything, I want you to say, what would you say to guys out there who've had like, this is a question of like, if someone wants to sign up with coaching for me to get their style and trend image overhauled, to give them the foot in the door that you had, but they're on the fence about it because they haven't had any success or they have no framework for it, what would you tell them?
yeah. Here's what I'll tell them. Look, there's very few cases you're going to find like me. I tried for 12 years before working with Cam and Andy, 12 years, right? And it was concerted. I spent thousands. I did many different boot camps. I went on endless nights out. And like it was at least 2,000 day game approaches I did in my early 20s and the same number in the evenings. My online dating was so horrendous. I never got one message after the whole time of doing it. So I was absolutely lost and didn't know if it was even possible for someone like me to get success. Uh, Yet I'd seen can produce these types of results many times, and fortunately, I was aware that there was people around in the community who had started in different positions and started to get results. And I had trust, man. I understood that this was not something that I knew. I humbled myself to admit that I'd not figured this out at all. Not at all. The concepts I had, the ideas I had, they were useless. And as such, I had to have faith that this is expert guidance. Other people followed this guidance and got results. If I just allow this problem to be dealt with by an expert and listen and just do the work, regardless of how I feel internally, just show up and work my arse off, then I have an opportunity to succeed. I wasn't confident. I wasn't sure. I was full of doubt. I really thought it was fucking impossible for me to get these results. I thought it was completely beyond any reasonable chance of this happening. I even remember setting the goal and people around me saying, "I'm not sure this is realistic." But Cam didn't have any doubt, didn't have any kind of reservations at all, because he knew I'd listen and do what needs to be done. And then I changed my life completely. And it's just been up from there.
Yeah.
I got my dates. I improved in every facet, my confidence, my levels of like just self-esteem, belief, and now I'm doing well in other areas. I've started a business. I'm growing. I'm confident enough in myself that I can go out into the world and take my place. And there's no price you can put on that. It's an incredible thing.
You were very coachable. That's the one thing I can say to you is like you were very coachable. That's probably helped you understand with your coaching as well now. So yeah, like kudos to you, man, that you put the work in. Like no one can ever say you didn't put the fucking work in, Ravi. You
It's the
know what I
thing,
mean?
man. Yeah, man. Look, this was like a lot of work. See, it. I moved to London, right? I put my career on the back burner. I denied promotions that were significant promotions. I put everything else to the wayside and focus entirely. A cold approached day game, 4 hours a day for pretty much a year and a half, and that's what it took to get the level of anxiety I had, which was just monumental, to normal levels. That was the medicine. Dates endlessly. I was on the apps 3 hours a day, 4 hours a day, doing the photo shoots. That's what it can take sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, you did all the technical necessity stuff that needed to be done. Like, man, you even went all in. You lost the weight you needed to lose. You got the hairline restored. You like you got the style that we worked several times on the style, just to, like really dial it in as much as possible. Got your little bit of designer maxing as well. Love the designer touches. So
Yeah.
do the girls.
Mm.
Yeah, it's like it's one of my like favorite like coaching stories that I've got is like you because like not just obviously the side by sides are incredible to see where you came from, where you ended up, and like where we're gonna go, like and where you're gonna go in the future. Like
Yeah.
I can't even imagine, you know what I mean?
Mm.
So it's like, yeah, I'm happy, proud to have coached you, man. It's been a hell of a journey.
Hope you enjoyed the interview. If you want a style and image transformation like Ravi got, there's links down below to the products that I offer. I offer a video course and group coaching, and I'll help everyone who wants it get themselves to a style that will best attract the women that they want. Peace out till next time.